It's my honor now to present the Thoburn Excellence in Teaching Award. The Thoburn Excellence in Teaching Award was created and endowed by one of the area's premier educators and philanthropists, the late Dr. Tina Thoburn and her husband Thomas. Nominees for this award are made by St. Vincent College alumni 5 to 7 years after graduation. Alumni are invited to name one member of the faculty who made a significant impact on them through their teaching and personal interactions. Over 20 different faculty were nominated this year, and several received multiple nominations. This provides a clear indication of the long-lasting impact our faculty have. This year's prestigious Thoburn Award recognizes the talents and contributions of Dr. Peter Hutchinson, Professor of Economics. I ask Dr. Hutchinson to please come forward. Dr. Hutchinson graduated summa cum laude in economics from St. Vincent College as a member of the illustrious class of 1968. He earned master's and PhD degrees in economics from the University of Pittsburgh. His dissertation was titled Accessibility and Segregation: Their Effects on the Employment of the Urban Poor. Before returning to St. Vincent College, Dr. Hutchinson held numerous teaching and administrative positions at Bowling Green University. Dr. Hutchinson teaches economics and microeconomic theory to upper-level majors, and most famously, statistics to most of you, the several students, all the students of the McKenna School, certainly. Last year, the McKenna School seniors ranked in the top 0.4% of over 600 accredited business programs in the United States in quantitative business analysis, a skill sought after by graduate schools and employers, and a skill that is essential in most of today's careers, and a skill that is taught in statistics by Dr. Hutchinson. A few weeks ago, when the lunchtime temperatures were a little bit more tolerable than they were today, I was sitting outside having lunch on a picnic table at the Carey Center, and I looked down and I saw the words scrawled with a knife in the tabletop, "I hate stats." It was in all caps. Now, I could go on about defacing St. Vincent property, but I won't. But at the time, I recalled the many nominations for the Thoburn Award from all of those alums who repeatedly talked about how they were challenged with difficult material by professors who set a very high standard. Many of them relayed how their frustration sometimes would turn to hatred. And I'm sure several of them took them out on picnic tables. Better yet, some may have had a long run on a treadmill or a few laps in the pool. But what these alums realized 5 to 6 to 7 years later is that those skills that they were initially frustrated to learn were the very same skills that made a difference in their career and their lives. Dr. Hutchinson promotes student mastery by simultaneously being demanding and supportive, two words that are repeatedly found in his student evaluations. Other words used to describe Dr. Hutchinson are challenging and difficult, tough but honest, and terrifying and brilliant. Students provide a window into Dr. Hutchinson's classroom, so I want to share a few quotes from them. His teaching style keeps you alert because you never know when you might be called upon. He lets you know that grades will be earned in his class. Earned is in all caps. He gets you ready for the real world. And finally, and perhaps most poignantly, despite his rough exterior, Dr. Hutchinson is just a big softie who cares deeply about his students and that they learn deeply. Dr. Hutchinson, for your dedication to St. Vincent College students and their mastery of difficult, essential skills, and the care that you take to support them in this endeavor, it is my pleasure to present to you the 2014 Thoburn Excellence in Teaching Award.
Thank you, John. If you didn't see the award as a golden apple, I was afraid it might be a leg lamp, but it was not. I'm truly honored to receive this award. I don't really consider myself a particularly profound individual. I'm more of a in-your-face, wisecracking Jersey guy. But I must tell you that St. Vincent has had a profound influence on my life and my career. When I entered SVC in 1964, the college slogan at the time was a personalized education in the Benedictine tradition. As an 18-year-old, I didn't pay much attention to that, and even if I had, I would not have understood what it meant. But gradually, through osmosis, it began to sink in. I had some very influential teachers during my time as a Bearcat. Among them were Andy Verzilli, whose classes convinced me to become an economics major, Chuck Manoli, my freshman history professor, who taught me how to think, Father Armand Baldwin, Father Ronald Gorka, and Callistus Milan. I also learned a great deal from my friends as we debated the Vietnam War, the military draft, the civil rights movement, and many other contemporary issues of the day, usually over a Rolling Rock beer or two. One of my classmates here today is my old college roommate, Steve Verbis, who not only convinced me to take Andy Verzilli's econ classes, but also helped prove that an economist and an accountant could coexist. It seems by the time that I left St. Vincent and entered graduate school, I had begun to appreciate the value of a personalized education in the Benedictine tradition. At the risk of excluding anyone, there are a number of people I'd like to thank today. First of all, then President, Father Martin Bartle, and then Provost, Brother Norman Hips, for convincing me to return to St. Vincent in 1997 to work with Father Marty as Dean of Institutional Advancement, the one job in higher ed I knew that I would never do. Also, Dean Gary Quinlivan, who hired me as a professor in 2002, thereby enabling me to return to my first love in the classroom. I'd also like to thank my colleagues in McKenna School, particularly my three senior amigos from the third floor of Aurelius Hall, Rob DePasquale, Bill Hisker, and Tom Holowati, who make it such fun to come to work every day. Also, my other colleagues from across the campus, particularly such people as Jim Barnett, Matt Fisher, Doreen Blandino, Nancy Rotler, and Jen Kale. I also would like to thank my family, my parents who somehow managed to send 7 kids through college, my brothers and sisters who taught me about sibling rivalry, but more importantly, taught me about sibling love, my 2 sons, Chris and Brian, who've been a source of joy and laughter in my life for the past 42 years, and most of all, my wife Ginny, who has been with me every step of the way since we got married in this basilica 45 years ago. Following graduate school, we headed out to the flatlands of Northwest Ohio together, the Jersey boy and the Yinzer from the Mon Valley. 26 years later, Ginny gave up her home, her job, her friends, and the place where she raised her kids to enable me to fulfill my dream of returning to St. Vincent. Her smile and manic sense of humor have been my constant companions. As Elphaba and Glinda sang in the hit Broadway musical Wicked, Ginny, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. Finally, I'd like to thank my students. There's a rumor circulating among the students that I'm not the easiest professor on campus. I guess it's true because I do tend to set the bar pretty high. And unfortunately, as I remind my students at the beginning of each new semester, I was a high jumper in high school, which means that every time I cleared the bar, somebody raised it. For the past 12 years, my students have consistently given their best effort to clear the bar that I set for them, and they have rarely complained if I raised it. Their nominating me for this award not only humbles me, but gives me hope that perhaps there just might be some value in my own individual version of a personalized education in the Benedictine tradition. Thank you.